Hello everyone, welcome to Casting Cauldron. I am Sabrina the Witch. If you are new here, welcome. If you are returning, thank you. Today I want to talk about using spells and affirmations to attract what it is that you want. It is very important that they are carefully worded. They need to be completely positive and they need to be present tense. And if you have started on the path of witchcraft, and you are beginning to learn about meditation and affirmations or spells, then you probably are learning about how to call things into your life. But I've been fortunate enough to really dive deep into what affirmations are, how they work, and how to write them. In order for me to be able to recite them and help other people, I actually went to a hypnotherapy course at an institute in Arizona. It was a home study course, but I had already studied about affirmations through another course that I purchased, a series of tapes by a psychologist. So I was expanding my knowledge and my ability to actually create affirmations. And I did go on to write an ebook called The Little Book of Affirmations, and it's available on Amazon Kindle, and you can download it on your phone. It's only about 20 pages. There are scripts for different goals, about 6 goals, half a dozen goals. So it's more like a booklet. Many years ago, when I was struggling with the idea of religion and spirituality, I had been invited by an older woman who lived next door to go to her church. She had her own experiences and her own reasons for clinging to that religion. And I was voicing my own doubts and questions and concerns, but they were pretty much falling on deaf ears. She had told me one day that she had prayed to her idea of God, the Christ, to help her and her husband get a place to live. And she didn't care how the money came. Now, when you study how to do spells and affirmations, especially in Wicca, if you're in Wicca and you learn the foundations, we have what's called the safety clause at the end. This happens with good to all concerned. This happens in a safe way, with good to all concerned. That's a safety clause, guys. And I say with compassion that my friend, the older woman next door, was ignorant in that she had not been taught. Religion doesn't teach you how to properly call into your life the things you need. They don't teach you how the mind works. Praying for something that would come in any way that it can come, she ended up falling at work and breaking her arm. She claimed this to be the divine answer to her request. And they did end up talking to the company and settling on the amount of money that she was praying for. It was only $5,000. And they went and bought a used old mobile home. But for them at that time, getting into their older years, she thought it was a blessing. She thought it was fine. They had been farmers and they had worked very, very hard for years. They were not one of those farmers who made hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. Some farmers out here become millionaires. I've met 2 women whose husbands had a farm and became a millionaire. So I don't know what the differences are, but this couple, my neighbor, had not. And I had already learned at that time from those tapes I had purchased in the 80s that she really didn't understand. That's not a true blessing. When you attract that into your life, you have forgotten the safety clause. Now, another example would be a book that I the book that I got at the library on hypnotherapy, I was looking for information on how my guided meditations caused me to have my life-changing dream, and hit upon hypnotherapy. So I got this book and I'm just eating it up, and I knew this is what I want, and that's what got me on the road to looking for a hypnotherapy course. But there was a story in there that I understood completely. And I may have talked about it, but I'm going to talk about it again. And that is when you are focusing on attracting a certain amount of money into your life. If you are calling on a spirit to help you, then you may not necessarily need the safety clause, depending on their correspondences. But if you're just making a spell and you're making affirmations and working at your altar with a candle and some spices, and you're charging the candle and you're writing down what you want, you need to know you've got to use the safety clause. So going back to learn what it is in the foundations of magic and witchcraft, of meditation, of writing your spells, writing them properly, and putting that safety clause at the end is going to secure that everything happens with good to all concerned in a safe or a positive way. It is so. With that safety clause there, you can say, well, things haven't happened exactly the way I wanted to. I don't know why this little bugaboo happened. It doesn't seem really that pleasant, but nobody was really hurt. Nobody was seriously injured, or nothing seriously bad, whatever it was, okay? It still has happened in a way that is good and good for all concerned. I always say positive, safe, and good for all concerned. Here's the story. A man had learned about the law of attraction and making affirmations, and he began to affirm that he had $10,000, and he was receiving this $10,000, and he was going to the bank, and he was depositing it, and he was able to visualize this scenario happening every single day. He did this for several weeks, and there was absolutely no mention at all about him making sure that it happened at the right time and in a positive way. Within about 3 weeks, he got news that a family member, like a sister, was having a serious operation and needed $10,000. He did have a property that he was thinking about selling, but not at that time. It was not a seller's market. So he had really no choice but to put the house up for sale at that time. It did sell within about a month or so, but at $10,000 less than he had been wanting and could have received if he had been able to wait until it was a seller's market and get that extra $10,000. So by not putting in there the word extra, over and above, or this happens at the right time and in the most positive, safe way with good to all concerned. It turned out to be not quite what he had hoped. So this can cause someone to give up and never do it again. Now, people who do not study alternative religion and magic and witchcraft and understand that there's a process of writing spells and reciting what it is that you want in positive and present tense, as well as the safety clause at the end, are just not going to give that. It's a generic, watered-down version that makes people feel like it's New Age information. It's not. It's old. And it has to include the safety clause. many other examples I could give you of things that I've heard that happened on the news for people that prayed for something in any way that it could come, and there was a big tragedy, and they still claimed that it turned out to be a blessing. I disagree. So that is your tip for today. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you soon.